So Levi, we're,
Hey V,
we're
hey,
in your broadcast
quick,
room.
quick question, V. How do I sound?
You sound great.
Oh, good, because I'm using the mic I stole from you.
So, and just so you know, yes, Levi, Levi goes, oh my God, it was all like freaked out. I can't believe I left this in my Levi, it was an honest mistake. Oh my, I can't believe Levi. The odds of you ever stealing, I mean, oh my, he's the one who takes the candy, from the restaurant and leaves a quarter. You know, Levi, those are free candies. You don't know. No, but yes.
Oh
So
man,
you love those microphones, huh?
it's a good one. It's working well so far.
Should be two of them, I thought.
Uh, where's that
Dual
quarter?
mics. All right, Levi. So what do you have for us tonight?
Oh man, so I am a get it done photographer. Unfortunately, I occasionally get to spend a lot of time on a single picture. Usually, I have to spend a little time on a lot of pictures, and I really like the way that Luminar lets me do that. And I've been using Luminar since it was like tonality CK and Snap Heal. What was it called? The old Mac Fun stuff. I've been using it for I think more than 10 years, maybe 12 years now. And so I really like how far it's come. And let me share my what's it? Where's that button? Screen share.
Sure.
Should I share my whole desk? I'll share the whole desktop here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything incriminating on there. Here we go. And then we'll biggie size the Luminar. There we go. Forgive me as I move the window around so I can view my view you guys and the Luminar. So and are you doing Q&A, V?
Yep, I'll take care of that. So will Angela.
Sweet. Okay. Okay, first of all, check this out. This is an incredible castle in Germany this is downtown Salt Lake City. This is this is town hall. This is like the county building in Salt Lake City. And it's such a fun thing to photograph because it just looks really out of place. But I found this little peek through the trees view of it. But it could be so much better with a little better sky. And so like that is voodoo.
Wow.
Look at these trees, man. And it just came in. I haven't made anything to it. And I'm just floored by how well that works. And I love that, like in this case, it turns out that everything's right. Like the sun is coming from the east here, and the sun is also shining from the east onto the clouds. But if they were the wrong direction, I could flip them and make them fit. But as it is, it's so remarkable how well that works.
You know what's funny,
Yeah,
Levi?
I think I'll keep
It's
that one.
like our great ancestors, if they were alive and they turned the water and water came out of a faucet and they didn't have to travel 300 yards to get water, they're gonna go, oh my God, this is
Right?
amazing. If you
Yeah,
ever had to replace the sky, those are the people that look at this and go, oh my God,
yeah.
that's amazing.
One of the first, I think probably the first photographer I ever studied from history was William Henry Jackson, and he's one of the guys who's responsible for creating national parks because the pictures he sent back to Congress instilled such wonder in people that they use these photos to help preserve
And
the beautiful
motivate.
places for the rest of us. Yeah. Um, and one of the pictures he did is of a place called Mount of the Holy Cross, and it's in Colorado. And it's this mountain, and there's like a couloir on it, a big crevice up the front of the mountain, and then there's a crevice that crosses it. And when there's a little bit of snow falling in it, it looks like a crucifix. And the famous picture he made of this has it just like breaking through these clouds surrounding it.
Oh wow.
It's really incredible, and it's all fake. It is all photoshopped. Like he cut out picture. He cut negatives of clouds and exposed them on top of this other photograph to compile this picture. And actually doing that would be easier than trying to compile clouds into this picture, because look at the detail in the leaves of things. I think it's remarkable how well this works. And I'm going to try an off label use. This isn't authorized by Luminar, everybody. This is not authorized by Skylum. Oh, see, so if you go on a picture and it doesn't show, like it doesn't, everything is grayed out under the sky thing, it won't let me change the sky on this picture. Let's see if it'll do it on this one. Still thinking, nope, won't let me do it on this one either. But sometimes, V, recently I've been using it to change the background on my headshots of people, because sometimes I don't get, like, it's the hardest thing about headshots is getting a uniform lighting on the backdrop. And I often don't, but frequently lately I've been using AI to substitute it and put in, like, I've just loaded a white backdrop in my skies down here, because you can load your own sky selections.
But again, it's not a supported.
It's off label. It's not allowed. Do it every time you can. It means you're allowed to use it. You're just not allowed to complain about it.
Exactly.
So in here, you can just navigate to any picture.
That's how I started my Aviator. The new Aviator series, was because I accidentally replaced the cloud, or I had her on a white background, and it was phenomenal. And I was like, oh wow. So, Levi's into the sports now,
dude. It worked. Look at that. Look at that sky replacement, man. We're dropping in some starry night behind my football player. I wish I'd known that before. I would have done that when we published it in the magazine.
Oh Lord.
Look at that. That's perfect.
Chris saw nothing.
I'm gonna lower the horizon on there, put some stars behind him, maybe put a little defocus on the stars so they don't detract from my fellow's face quite so much. And now, instead of being a COVID picture, it's becoming a something else.
Now, what was that shot for?
Relight human. This is for the cover of the magazine at Utah State University.
You live in Utah now?
Vanelli can't quite keep track of where I live, because he's lived in the same town the entire time I've known him, and I've lived in like 6 towns since I've known him. So
that's good. Yeah. Was it your choice to add the mask, or was it theirs?
No, so the story was about the uncertainty of the future of sports for the year, and it ended up being this picture that we ran on the cover. We shot several others. I shot one with his helmet on as well. We were going to do like a split helmet mask, no mask thing, but it turns out a helmet is really big, and like cutting it in half leaves like this watermelon sticking off of the one half of his head. So that didn't work out so well. And we ended up with more of this treatment as a black and white with a blue wash on top of it as well.
You mentioned earlier, which I liked, you said you get it in, get her done. Get it done.
That's the thing.
And it's interesting because I mentioned this to everyone earlier. Is I made a comment about that in one of our groups, and a guy very respectfully said, Vanelli, I wish you guys would stop saying that, because I love editing just as much as I love photographing the subject. And I was like, wow, that's right. There are people out there that love to do those, love to do that. They love to explore, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just like to explore, create a template, and then the next time we do the same thing over again, done. And we're out.
And I love to explore, and I love to spend time on a single photograph. I'm not allowed to. I don't have time to. I've got to I've got a photograph, like next Wednesday, I'll be photographing, I think 60 people doing headshots, and they've got a 5-minute time slot, and I've got to go. And so 60 people, if I spend 1 minute on those, that's only an hour of time finishing them, but it's going to be more than that because everybody's got a pimple and everybody's got a stray piece of dust on their jacket. And so I need to minimize the time I can spend on all the general stuff. And that allows me to spend
quality time.
Not even quality time, but it allows me to spend just a little time on the annoying things, like this hair on his sweater. There's always something like that. And that thing's going to be stuck on that guy's jacket, on his sweater that he's going to wear until the next time he gets a headshot. I just photographed a guy who I photographed I think I photographed him the first month I bought a camera in 2009. And he happens to be my brother's father-in-law, but he's a professor at the university I now work at. And I was the last one to photograph him. And so I just made a new headshot for him 12 years later. And
wow.
that's the first time he's had a picture made again. And so that little hair is going to last. And so having the dumb stuff done, the things that require no input done for me really quickly is key, so that I can spend just a tiny bit more time on some important things like hairy sweaters. Just grabbing the
and Levi, how many times have you gone to your friend's house or family and you saw a photo you did years ago and you saw imperfection, you're like, ooh, you take it off.
You're like, oh, I could do better now. Let's do something better. Actually, my favorite day on Facebook is my birthday. because when people weigh in and wish me happy birthday, I see their profile pictures and I get to see all the people I made pictures for right there. I love that. That's one of my favorite things. Yeah, lots of Steve Jobs portraits in there. Absolutely. I did a thing here that not enough people do, V. I changed my camera profile.
Yep.
And these are like a LUT built to mimic the profiles built into your camera.
Exactly.
And you think that you've made some changes in your camera and you're shooting with your secret sauce, but if you shoot raw, you're not. You're shooting whatever Luminar says or whatever Adobe says, and their interpretation of your picture, unless you change this camera profile. And so I always actually come in here and change that. It changes the contrast and the saturation and also the interpretation of the color. Like it will change the color of green in this guy's sweater based on which of these things I choose. And then I also use a color checker to create my own profiles all the time, which I can also load my own DCP profiles right here. So it's a powerful tool to have in there. And so we've got the white balance good. I like how he's looking here. And so, like you said, what I would do is I would create, actually, we're not done yet. Let's go to some portrait action down here. Grab some face work. Oh man, face light is
it's amazing.
It is my like savior. Yeah. Look at that. It's just lightening him up. I don't want it to do that, but I do want a little lift. Like that's very dark. I want a little lift, and it only applies to his face, not his sweater, not his textbook. I love that. And let's get some skin action in here. Everybody deserves to not have distracting skin. Try some of that. And then I always turn on the defects removal just to see how it works. Like for me, these two liver spots on his temple are distracting because they're like two little eyeballs. And our brains are trained to look for eyeballs, and two little circles next to each other is a focus point for us. And so sometimes I think if we had a different view of his face, this would take care of those, but it's not right now. So I'll have to touch those up with the clone stamp. But I like where that's going. I might even hit the shine removal just to reduce the brightness of that forehead a touch, or not. Yeah, I'll turn it up a bit. We'll try that. And then I'll create a template which allows me to go to another photograph And typically I work from Lightroom. And so I use Luminar as a plugin. And so I can launch Lightroom, or from Lightroom, I can batch export a whole bunch of pictures to be edited. And using templates, I can apply the same settings across, oops, not favorites, but my templates, across all these different pictures. And bam, there he is, all set up and ready for, now he's ready for my fun finishing. And so using those templates really helps me get to the fun stuff faster. In this case, this was a fun photo, and I'm embarrassed. I'm downloading a bunch of photos here for you to see. And the finished version of this one is clogging everything up. In fact, it's going so bad. Yeah. I'm trying to download those from the server at school onto my desktop. I had a traffic jam on the way home, V. I'm very sorry to be a little slow getting in here. But
while you're looking for that, there's a question from Phil. He wants to know where you got the profiles that you loaded into Luminar.
Yeah, so those profiles in the edit, in the edit tools here under light, they are built in depending on the camera you use. So this picture was shot with a Canon camera. I know that because only Canon has a profile called Faithful, whereas this photo was shot with a Lumix camera. And so I've got the Lumix options pop up, and there's no option for Faithful because that's not included with my Lumix camera. And so they're already built in. They're only available if you shot it in RAW, if you've got a RAW file. If you've got a JPEG file, it's just set at, what is it, Luminar color, or is it even an option? It might not even be there.
If it's JPEG, yeah.
If it's JPEG.
Yeah, you don't get the option.
So my camera is set to either flat or natural, because like when I shoot flat and my picture looks like this, if I can make the picture in my camera look good at the worst contrast and saturation settings, then I know when I get back on the computer, I can make it look better, and I won't be surprised by its flat nature, because I shot it that way and I know it's going to look good. I typically use natural as my starting point for editing as well for my Lumix cameras, which is the Panasonic camera brand. What was that, V?
Awesome. Hey, let me jump in just 1 second. I'm going to do this for our good friend Chris. Chris was excited when you hit that one little change. He loved how that totally changed your
for the profiles.
Yep. Let me share my screen for a moment.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. All right. You see the lovely Ashley?
I do.
Yep. All right. So, Chris, this is for you. I found it, Angela. Romantic, but look at that. One click before, which is still a good image, after, and I caught myself. In fact, you know what I will do, which I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I will. I'm going to show you the original. Levi, don't judge me. Don't be calling Rich. You see Vanelli's portrait? All right. Here's the actual original image. When I took
before the face slimming, it's a picture of Vanelli. Look what the face slimming does.
Well, that would have been perfect. But so I have to admit, yeah, I wasn't feeling the shoot. I just, as a photographer, you're sometimes you're in it, and this wasn't a paid shoot. If it were a paid shoot, I hate to say it, you got to just suck it up and find it. Here, the creativity, which we were shooting 5 bottles or 6 bottles, and we were doing for articles that we had to write for some of the magazines we do. I was exhausted. So I never liked it, because this here, I'm going to crop it in the Italian, it's called a malocchi. It's evil eye. And it's just, I don't like it. So what we ended up doing was I did spend time, let's see if I have it right here. Crop it, here we go. And we came up with this. Now, once I did, this is still here, but I won't do it now, but I did use the erase tool and I erased the finger and darkened the daylights out of this area here. So you never could tell that she was doing the devil's horns. And she didn't do it on purpose, of course. But what you and I were talking about is, look at this. How long did this used to take us in Photoshop or even Lightroom? Enhancing the eyes like that
Oh yeah.
and making it look realistic.
Yeah.
And
No, it's a brush every time. And
yeah, and you have to brush it, like you said, each time. Well, now I can take this and apply it to a dozen of the images that we've accepted from this shoot. Same lighting, same concept setup, boom, and we're done. And we're done for the day. So let me give you back. I'm gonna get rid of the screen. Stop sharing. There we go.
While you're doing that, there's a question for Levi from Steven. Wants to know, which Lumix camera do you use?
is in my personal work, I use a G9, and in at the school, I'm using the S1, the full frame. Well, not the full frame. There's now an S5 as well. So,
Wait, so haven't you used the S1? And there's an
yes.
S5 out there.
I know, right? And my supervisor just got the S5. So that's what I'm saying.
So am I coming to visit soon? Vanelli, there he is, right there. He's the guy behind the desk.
That's the guy. He's the one. He's the one who took my camera.
Oh, we would be in too much trouble.
Right.
I should leave it. So now, okay, so now you're at the school. And it's so funny because I thought you were teaching at the school.
Uh-huh.
And I kept thinking, you were.
Oh, wait, that's not enough work, man.
Say him.
That's not enough work.
So now you're back to shooting full time with, I don't want to say direction, with a purpose.
That's like, so my clients now are the Office of Equity on campus, or the president's office, or the outdoor recreation department, or the magazine. Like I'm the photographer for the magazine. So I've got all that stuff that is now in my purview, and it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Love it. Yeah,
it's pushing your creativity, right?
Absolutely.
And some of your sport photos, especially the soccer ones, are looking really.
Stop it, Vanelli. That hurts. I got kicked in the face the other day. Yes, I was what it was I even doing. I was trying to make portraits of all the teams on one of our campuses. We've got 30 campuses, V. And so I was making portraits of those people, and ended up getting kicked in the face trying to make action shots
with the soccer ball.
With the soccer players. Don't pick the tall, skinny soccer player. Get the squats.
So I showed my son Alec, of course, and the first thing he did was, what was he thinking? And poor Levi, boom, right in the face.
And we're actually in the racquetball court doing it, because I set it up as a studio and things. And there's like 20 soccer players in there, and it's the women's soccer team, and everyone just goes silent. No sound whatsoever in the whole room. And I, like, this is all within like an eighth of a second, I put my camera down and I start laughing. Because as that ball is hitting my face, I think to myself, I could cuss and she'll cry and no one else will be in a picture, or I can laugh and we can keep going. So I put my camera down on the ground and just sat there laughing. And I said, let's try that one more time. Because like you've got that split second to either get permission to keep going or end the shoot. And I just had to choose right then.
That's the difference between a pro. you keep the level head. You said, if you were to even show, and I'm sure it hurt, not the ball, but the camera hitting your face, that had to have hurt. So with that being
Oh,
said,
it was killer.
oh well, here, Thomas. Here's the funny part. He didn't even get the shot. So,
That's right. No, like my flash went off after the ball hit me in the face.
so to add insult to injury, he still didn't get the shot. And the girl had him
That's
autograph
right.
the ball. No, she should have autographed the ball.
That's what I should have done. That is what I should have done.
You have
Absolutely.
to admit that's funny though.
Absolutely.
But no, like I said, so with
Oh,
your
it was
movies,
definitely funny. It was very funny.
where you have to be creative every single day. I give you a lot of credit. Because now you went from photographing whatever you wanted to now,
Right.
oh no,
As a freelancer for 10 years. Yeah.
yep. And now it's up here, what you got to do. And you still have the passion and love for photography. And if that's anything we can push to everyone, is that love for photography. It shines through. I mean, it shines through with all your images and your editing workflow. Same thing. I mean, you can see it in it. So if that's one advice we can give any of you, is making sure that you don't lose that. But when it's not fun for you, step back, do something to make it fun, and don't continue.
That's
and
right.
not getting kicked in the face with a ball. I don't think it's fun. So,
I didn't even get a black eye, man. If I'd gotten a black eye, it would have been a lot more fun. So
great. Hey, you know what? Let's see. So David asked, one moment.
Somebody was asking me to address a histogram. Is that right?
Yeah. Could you share the screen and bring that up?
Sure. Which picture am I looking at for a histogram?
Anyone you want.
Question. Anyone I want. Okay. We'll take a look. Here's the thing. Do you see my histogram on the screen, V?
No.
That's because it doesn't matter. Remind me how to turn it. Oh, it's up here in the menu, huh?
Levi's in that camp.
I'm in that camp. So let's look at a different picture. Okay, so like this picture. The histogram. Can you guys even see that histogram? Oh no, that's not it. No, that won't let me zoom while I'm screen sharing. Something happened, V, to my histogram. I changed the shape of it. Turn it off and turn it back on here. Yeah, well, maybe it's just not catching up yet. Oh well. So the thing about I use the histogram. I say it in jest. I primarily use it for highlight and clipping warnings so that it shows me when something is too black or too bright. And but that's kind of as far as it goes. The histogram doesn't know what this picture is of. It doesn't know if it's supposed to be cranked all the way up to the right side. Like if I turned up the exposure here, and now I'm bottomed out there on the far right, it doesn't know that I'm trying to brighten the background and that it's on a white thing. It just is information. And so I use it for the information about the blue highlights here are the clipped black areas. And if I go too far up, then I get the clipped bright white areas, or sometimes red. Like if I cycle through the different RGB versions, I can see if the skin tones are blown out, which happens frequently when you've got the wrong white balance. If your white balance is set to orange, you'll actually blow out the reds, for instance. So I use the histogram to tell me some information, but it in no way dictates the look of my photograph. Is that all right?
And some people swear by the histogram. And again, it's your preference, what makes you feel.
Absolutely.
Like when you photograph with lights, do you use a light meter?
A third of the time I do.
See, I can't do a shoot let me rephrase, I can do it, but I won't do it without my light meter.
Sure.
And you know, Richie, my right hand, will say, "You already know what it is."
You've got a right hand.
The comfort. I want the
Yeah.
comfort of knowing I'm right. Click. There I am. I'm within a third of a stop.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
And whenever I use it, it's better. Like it's better and it's faster. And especially when I'm shooting a variety of skin tones in the same photograph, the things that I might push on one skin tone can't be pushed on the other skin tones. And so getting it precisely right with a light meter is definitely a good idea. It's a great idea. My histogram should not be bottomed out, top or bottom, unless I want it to be.
Now, Barbara asked if you were going to change that background. Barbara, we can't only, the reason why you can't change it is the sky is looking at that saying, yeah, that's not a sky. So the Sky AI, the new version, tightened up a little bit more on that.
Yeah, and so I would use the adjustment brush instead and just make it white. And you know, if that was my goal. My final goal with this photo was actually we ended up running this in the magazine as a double exposure, and I've got a person walking on Mars blended into his body as a black and white, and it's really pretty cool.
Oh wow!
It just
awesome job.
In fact, I might be able to. I couldn't get it to transfer from my server because it was killing us, but I might be able to show you real quickly.
Sean's back from Taco Tuesday, and he said, "You're still going?" I forgot it's Taco
John, it's Taco Tuesday around here too, and my tacos are getting cold downstairs. So thanks for having me, V.
Well, hey, Levi, thank you so much for joining us. And again, what did I call you? Like early this morning? What time? What time was it?
It was this morning. You're lucky I was out of bed.
I apologize.
Because we're not in the same time zone.
No. You want to stop sharing your screen? Yeah. Well, what time was it? It was early.
Yeah, it was right at 7 when I got
7?
your message.
Okay, good.
So
well, what's your time zone now?
Mountain, because I live in the mountains. 2 hours.
So you're 2 hours behind me.
Yes. Yep.
I'm in front of you. I'm ahead of you. Okay, no problem. All right, so 2 hours. It's not a competition, Levi. If it were, I'd be winning.
But you're ahead, Mr. Vanelli.
So, but hey, thank you so much.